Have you ever wanted to know how to grab the attention of your customers?
Today we're going to learn how to make a scrolling announcement bar using ChatGPT and the other using Webflow.
So stick around and learn how to do both. This video was requested by Castro K on YouTube. Shout out to you for the question. Thank you. Today we're going to use ChatGPT to make our scrolling announcement bar in Shopify. I ended up combining two versions of ChatGPT, ChatGPT 3.5 as well as ChatGPT 4. But I said, write me a code for Shopify and Liquid for a marquee announcement bar section that is customizable by the user. This could have been better. I didn't put in here that I wanted it to work on tablet view or mobile view, so that could be added so that you could add media queries, which basically are lines of code that allows the computer to adjust for different size widths. So for desktop view is one media query. I'll put the numbers in the description below. And then mobile has another one, and then tablet has another media query. Okay, so this is what I typed in up here, and this is what it spit out. So it gave me a comment section. It gave me the schema, and what schema is basically it gives you it tells the computer the attributes that you want your theme to have, so that the end user could customize it in the theme editor. And then it gave me the style sheet, but you see it did not complete. So if you're not sure whether or not this is finished, you know that it has to have an ending. So this is the opening tag, and then the closing tag would say end style sheet. So if you don't see that ending, then you know it's not complete, and then you would write continue. Going to Chat GPT 3.5, I said, this is what I said. I would like the code for a marquee announcement bar in Shopify with the HTML, CSS, and the JSON code. So that's basically the three components of what any website has. JSON is a form of JavaScript, even though Liquid is a template language, so you don't see actual HTML, but you'll see some components of HTML in Liquid. Okay, and it broke it down for me by each thing that I asked for. It gave me the HTML, it gave me the CSS, which is AKA the style sheet, right? It's the same thing um as style right here, style. So CSS style, they're the same pretty much. They do the same thing. And then it gave me the JSON, which is the objects. But it did not give me in 3.5, it did not give me the full schema. So what I ended up doing was copying this HTML and tweaking it because this is not fully correct. And then I copied this CSS. I think I left it as is. And then I went to this one over here. I hope you're not getting confused. And I copied this schema right here. And I had to tweak it a little bit too, I think. But yeah, so I had to combine two things. So now let's go into Shopify. The way you would do that is once you go into the ChatGPT and you get your code, you're going to come into Shopify, click the three dots. You're going to click edit code. And then you're going to come over to your left-hand side and click sections, add new section. You're going to name the section in here, whatever you want to name it. And then you're going to hit done. I've already done it, so I'm not going to do it again. I called my section marquee announcement, right? Then you're going to go over to your ChatGPT section, and you're going to just hit this button here, copy code. And then go back to your Shopify theme and you're going to paste it. That's this. Now, what that section in GPT did not do was, so let me just show you the difference. You see div class equals marquee, and then you see the span, right? Span is just like, how do I describe span? So if you just want like a word to be different from the rest of the words in the paragraph, you can use span. You can wrap that word in a span and then change. When you go to your CSS, you can change that span to a different color, a bold font, underline, whatever you want to do. So spans are like, for specific customizations, that you want to make, if that makes sense. Okay, so for some reason it used a span for this element. It could have used the H1 even, or H2. It would have been fine. Okay, so copy this. What is missing is this. What ChatGPT failed to do was to write the liquid properly. It's supposed to be sections, dot settings, and it's supposed to be dot the ID name that you have written. And the ID name could be whatever you choose, but it just has to match. So if you change your ID name down below in your schema, then you have to make sure that that is what you're using in this section right here. Settings automatically comes with the schema, and settings allows you to put the objects that you want to display in your theme editor so that the customer or the user can basically edit themselves. Then you're naming using the ID name. So whatever ID you give it, well, ChatGPT gave it an ID name. You're gonna just copy those and you're gonna put them here. So you want to change the span to be the sections dot settings dot whatever the ID name is for the text. So by changing it, it allows the little you know how you go on the Shopify and you can see on the side the settings where you could type in whatever text you want. That's what sections dot settings dot ID name allows you to do. It makes it easy to edit. Without that, everything will be hard coded in, and therefore the user wouldn't be able to change it. So anyway, that's the first part. You copy the div, and what I would like to do is after you paste each element, I hit save, because sometimes the schema gives you an error and you don't know what's making the error. So after each new piece of code you put, hit save just to be on the safe side. Okay, so now after you copy the div, copy the style. So now as you notice, you hit copy here, right? It doesn't have this style sheet line and the end style sheet. So you're gonna have to manually put that in. Okay? Curly brackets, parentheses, I mean not parentheses, percentage style sheet above the code. So you paste it in there and just make sure you put these lines here. Line 7 and line 31. Hit save. You could just copy this. I'll put this in the description below so you'll have it. And I pasted it in here. In ChatGPT 4, you do not see any presets, right? This is Shopify's dev docs. Now I'm telling you to just go to Shopify and copy these lines and paste them in your code on your Shopify theme, and it should just work. But for some reason, every time something should just work, it never does. And I ended up having to add an extra name um element or name attribute in my right above my preset. But Shopify didn't have that. In order for it to be here and add section, you have to have presets in your schema. You have to have this in your schema. Now, the way that they say to do it in Shopify, they just give you, right after the square bracket, they give you presets and this included in that. They give you that. And it says that this is how it'll look. All of this equals this down here. But what I noticed for my own self, for some reason, because things are never as they should be, okay, it's always some troubleshooting. I had to add this line here, another name, for some reason, in order for it to show up. Without line 58, my section did not show up in the theme editor. Okay, so now here's my section. Add. I can add it more than once, so I can have two. They show up here. Okay, and now you can change the background color to whatever color you like. Red, blue. You could type in your colors. Can't think of the name for some reason. My mind is coming to a blank. But yeah, if you have your own brand colors, you can type them in, and you can change the text color as well, or make it blue because you can't see that. And it changes in real time. Now, what else you are able to do? First of all, you can adjust this as well. So you see, you might want to put one at the top. Let me move this over here. You might want to put one at the top and another one here, and it could say two different things. But you see how the sizes are different? What you could do is add custom CSS. That's what the new feature is in Shopify now. You can add your own CSS. If you don't know what, like, this is an example, H2, this is what it would look like, but we didn't use a H2, right? So if you want to know what you're using, if you're in Chrome, hopefully you're in Chrome, you would right click on the browser, you would click inspect. Click this little triangle, this little cursor here, and scroll over different parts of the site so you know what's what. Okay, that green says span. So therefore that's the text itself. So you know when you want to adjust the text, the font size, you would target the word span, SPAN, right? Okay, so now let's close this out. So that means you would come to this one, you would type span, curly brackets, enter. You would type in font dash size, semicolon, and then let's say you want the 30 pixels. 30 pixels, then you put the colon, or that's that a semicolon. I always forget which one is which. And then it made it bigger, right? Then you hit enter, and if you want to change the font family, you can do font family. There's a shortcut. You can do font family. YouTube colon, and then I don't know any fonts by heart, but I know Times New Roman. See, it changed the font to Times New Roman, but I'm even having to finish it. And you put, I think you have to put the dashes in between Times New Roman. Not sure, but you put the semicolon after everything, and it automatically adjusts. But I think you could do a shortcut and just do this font semicolon, and then you do 30px space. Does this work? Oh yeah. Times New Roman. End it with that. So that's a shortcut. So you don't got to do two lines. You could just do one. And there you have it. Then you hit save. And ta-da! Here is the announcement bar, the marquee announcement bar. And it is working. The first time I tried this, it did not work, and I cannot figure out why. And of course, it was a simple thing that all of a sudden made it work. I don't remember what the error was now, but it's working, and the settings that we added in the schema allow us to change the color of the background as well as the color of the text. If you do not want to do this yourself, you can click the link below and you can download the free version for yourself from our website. If you want to know how to do the marquee in Webflow to see if that's a bit easier or if it's more challenging, then watch the next video.